Right, what's up my friends? Coach Ricky Burke here, bringing a product review to you guys today from the garage. Over the last, it's a year or two, that's a year, I have been using the CAP barbell squat rack as well as some of their plates, and just wanted to dive a little bit deeper as to why you should or should not order these products as a personal trainer or somebody who just likes to work out in general. I'm gonna give my honest opinion about the CAP barbell products and a couple other products as we go on, but this is just the CAP barbell stuff specifically today. So first and foremost, I don't hate this squat rack. It's pretty stable for the most part. The only bummer part is when I set it up, and I'm like not a crazy strong dude. I'm about 160 pounds. I think my total's like maybe like 11 or 1200 pounds. Like it's not great, honestly. But if you guys can see here, there's this insertion where it comes as two parts, and that is probably like the biggest, crappiest thing about this squat rack. You guys can see the weight is actually on the lower part of the divide, so it's not as pronounced. But if I were to put this like back squat or front squat height, like even anything above this line here, it'll tilt a little bit. It's not to the point where it's scary or it'll fall. Like I'll purposely pull on it and stuff too. Partially my fault, because when I very first got this, I hung a TRX strap from it and I went this way, like from here, and I totally bent the two metal rods. So personally, if you were to use this for regular movements like the bench press, the squat, rack pulls is okay on it too, as long as you have some weight back here to kind of counterbalance, as you guys can see right here on the floor. All in all, I think it's listed on Amazon for about anywhere from like $150 to maybe $200. This is hard for me to say. As an athlete and as a personal trainer, I would say no, don't buy this. However, if you are someone who is new to weightlifting or just somebody who wants a safe, stable rack to do a little bit of weight training on here and there, sure, it's not a bad option for under $200. However, if you are even remotely strong, I do recommend spend the extra $100 or $200 and even get a used one. Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Play It Again Sports. I know there is a Marcy dual combo rack that comes with a full rack with a cable. That's right around like $400 or $500, and it's a lot more stable. Another negative to this particular rack is I had to kind of aftermarket a lot of stuff. Like right here, these long racks were an additional like $20 or $30. And these J hooks, if I'm being honest, they suck, because you guys can see how thin that bar is, and they gave me two of the same, so like they both hook onto the right side. So if I were to do something like banded pull-ups or banded push-ups, like if I'm pulling this side, it's fine, but if I'm pulling from this side, it comes out like that, and yeah, that's not super stable. Now sure, if I'm just putting a barbell on it and using it for ideally what it's supposed to be used for, it's fine. But us personal trainers and coaches like to get a little creative, and I do notice that that one nuance does limit a good amount of the movements that I could do on here, especially with that kind of like tilt forward. So all in all, I would say not worth it as far as just the rack itself. You guys can see I chose yellow because that's my company color, but it's kind of an eyesore. Like if it functioned well, I can deal with like the bright, obnoxious yellow. But right now, honestly, this thing's kind of driving me crazy because it's not crazy strong for what I would like to use it for. Even pull-ups, like you guys can feel or see, like sure, like the only movement is coming from like me actively really pulling. It's really not going to go anywhere because I have like the 55 or 255s down here counterbalancing it. But yeah, like when we're doing pull-ups and TRX work, like we don't want a lot of feedback like that. So personally, I would skip this one and go for something else. Now, as for the plates, that's a different story. Plates are pretty awesome, not gonna lie. I think I had the 45s, but they're not labeled by Cap, which is funny. Or maybe they're not Cap, but either way, they're pretty good. And I also have the 55s that I mostly use to weigh down the rack. And then these 25s right here too. So I pretty much have the full set of plates from Cap. And honestly, yeah, like I'm not too picky. Weights is weights at the end of the day, unless you are an Olympic weightlifter that requires a little bit of spin and bounce with the plates. Even then, these are good. They're rubber coated, especially with the rubber floor. You get a nice little bounce and feedback. It's nice. To be honest, it's kind of hard to find shitty plates. But yeah, I think they're manufactured really well. I think I weighed them all too. They're all very accurate. And if you guys can see in between the holes right there, it's actually pretty flush to that casing there. I think maybe I had one hard time because I had the plates on the ground and I was trying to stick the barbell like directly into them, and that was my fault. But all in all, I would rate the Cap barbell products as a whole a 7 out of 10. You know, if I had to break it up, I'd probably give the squat rack like a 5 out of 10, just in terms of cost, durability, function. Don't get me wrong, you can get a super good workout from this thing, but keep in mind that if you're pushing numbers in like the 1,500 to maybe 2,000 total, if you're that strong, invest in a stronger, more stable rack. I kind of just use this for a lot of general movements, and I abuse it, and that's probably why it bent on me. But yeah, if you want or need something a little bit hardcore or sturdy, I would not use this one. However, the plates for $1 a pound is about back down to market price. And over COVID, we were hitting like 2 to 250 cents a pound, which is crazy. But yeah, for $1 a pound, the Cap plates are actually fantastic. It's, in my opinion, besides secondhand OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, it's the pound for pound best plate that you can get for the price. So give it a shot if you're looking to build a gym, or if you're looking to replace some of the old crappy stuff. Check out the plates. When it comes to investing in a rack, give it a shot. This is just my personal opinion. If you use it for what it's meant to be used for, sure, it's great. But if you want to try to get creative with some things, it's not as stable as a lot of the other racks. You know, of course, a Rogue rack, a Marcy rack, Life Fitness, things like that. Cap, I think they're just a little bit new to the barbell. The squat rack realm. So if you're thinking about getting one, give it a shot. If not, learn from my experience.